Welcome back to Lensless with Candy Wu. This is Lysandra, your favorite lensless stylist, and I am on the line with an excellent and creative, talented photographer. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we're going to conduct this interview because I want you guys to hear what it is that this company does and what's the driving force behind it and the inspiration. AJ, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate this opportunity to connect. And our company is Bymsha Browne Photography. I'm AJ Browne. I'm the lead photographer, and I work with a lot of amazing creatives across the state and across the world.
So tell me, what is the inspiration behind what you do? Because when I look at your imagery, when I look at the end result of your whole production, it is amazing. It's like melanated fantasy, and I love how whimsical it is, how it takes you to another world. So what's the inspiration behind what you do?
My original inspiration comes from my mother, who was a seamstress, and she made fashion clothing in Liberia, West Africa. She used a lot of beautiful patterns in the old days, and she had all these old magazines, Vogue magazines, and a lot of these high fashion magazines. And I never really saw a lot of representation of people that look like me. But my mother designed and created fabrics into clothing and put on beautiful African people. So these beautiful pieces were put on beautiful African people, but we weren't represented in pictures. So as I got older, as a creative, as a musician and a creative, when I picked up the camera, I decided that the inspiration that should drive me is representation and just presenting the colors of our people, making sure that we can see each other in a fantastic type environment, not only as we are, but in futuristic concepts, in historically future, I could call it historically futuristic concepts, in beautiful colors that, and in different attitudes that we can present and capture, not just one view of who we are, but I want a representation. And my basic inspiration comes from the creativity that my mom brought to her creative work as a seamstress, and growing up not only in West Africa but growing up in Europe, looking for representation all over the world that we lived. So my inspiration comes from my mom, and trying to find inspiration from different works of art that already exist and show representation that we can see each other in these environments in beautiful colors. Like you said, the fantasy of it all.
Beautiful. I like that. And it definitely translates in your work. That's a beautiful gift your mom left you, huh?
Yeah, she's still here. She's still here with us. I spoke with her this morning, and she's constantly asking me what I'm doing, and she's very interested in it. I'm glad to still have her
proud.
With me. I think she is, but moms, they always they encourage you in different ways.
Yeah,
I think they do.
It is what it is.
They do that so they won't make you feel too accomplished, because they still want you to keep striving.
Swell, right?
Exactly. So they, your head won't swell. They want you to keep going further and further. Like she always says, if you do something, do the best of it. Don't do it halfway. Always be the best at what you do. So that's the inspiration that I try to put into everything I do. And photography is the base of one of the basis of my inspired creativity, but just the visual arts, just arts in general, audio, visual, and just looking for the beauty in everything I see, and not limiting it to just where we are now. You know,
right.
Just, movies and stuff like that just inspire. I was also the inspiration also, besides being connected to my mom, I'm a Star Trek person. I like futuristic vibes. I like
that's the sauce too.
Yeah,
that's
you see that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see ourselves in the future, and that's part of it. The fashion comes from my mom, and the futuristic concept comes from me being a Star Trek, Star Wars type kid. You know, growing up in that environment. I still am, and I want to see us in the future. That's very important.
I like that, and it's a beautiful future indeed. Like, just the way the world is going, you would feel like there is no light, there is no color, there's no pattern, there's no positive activity, but there is. And I like the fact that your work shows that. I like the effort that you put in. I recently worked with you on a project. And,
yes, and I really appreciated that. And looking forward to our next one.
Yes, I can't wait for the next one. And I was going to say that I mentioned to you that I was so happy for you to reach out to me and for me to contribute some of my pieces, and even me being there in the presence and working with you guys. It was a great feeling because it was unexpected. Let me just say that. It was unexpected, and it made me feel like, you know, all is not lost when it comes to creativity and just that creative, like you would say, that creative village. All is not lost. It felt really good to work with you guys. And then when I saw the output, I know you do great stuff, but to see my work as part of the output, I was in awe. And
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it really brought a new perspective to me as far as what can be done with my purpose and my creativity. And I think that part of what you're doing as well, I don't know if you recognize it or acknowledge it, you're bringing everyone into a space where there's that next level, you know, like don't limit yourself. There's that next level. And that's I can appreciate, you know.
That's a big compliment. I appreciate you saying that. One of the things that I do, if you notice when we were working, is that every time the pieces were put together, or the sets and the outfits were put on our beautiful model, and your pieces were put on, and you know all the pieces were put, it inspired me at that point now to do what I had to do. So the for me, I see it as a collaborative, creative process, because as much as I might have a concept in mind, when the other creatives put their pieces on, or when even you know, when the hair is done differently, you know, or when you put your pieces on the glasses and the necklaces, that inspired me, and I saw a different way to light, like using my light to enhance what was being done by my fellow creatives. So as much as I might have a base to work from, when I'm working with people that are bringing their creativity to the project, as we work, I'm also trying to paint the picture that they're trying to put together also. And that's what that's what makes it very challenging for me, and I love that challenge because it takes me out of my comfort zone, and I don't know what I know what's there, but when the image comes out, it's a contribution of everybody because I feel challenged by the quality of work that my coworkers do, my villagers put in.
Right.
And that's you guys do a great job putting the pieces together and putting everything. So when I see it, I say, I have to represent that very well. The model's doing a great work, and I want to make sure that I'm representing the quality of the work and the pieces that are being created, that are being put in front of the camera. I want to represent it well. Not only capturing it, but lighting it properly, making sure that the colors are done properly, making sure that the complexion of the person that I'm working with is done properly, that everybody's contribution is well represented on the capture. That's why I like to put all the information on to connect it with the works that we do. So when it's published, that everybody knows that these people were the part of the creative village. It's not just me,
Right. It gives everyone credit, which is it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's definitely necessary.
So let's touch on lighting, and then we're going to talk about publishing, because I really want to talk about how the publishing thing, how has come about, and when you started, and what's the most exciting part about the publishing. So let's talk about lighting. When I look at your photography, the lighting is beautiful. And I've seen your work prior to any editing, and I was stunned to find out that it looks as if it's already edited. So please do shout out the companies that provide your great equipment that you use, and tell me about how you use lighting to create what we see.
Well, I am ambassador of Rogue Flash Photography, and that's from a company in the UK called Expo Imaging. They design modifiers for lighting. Because I work on the go, I'm always outside and shooting my images. Their products are very portable, and it's so easy to carry, collapsible. I can actually slide it in my back pocket when I'm shooting, and magnetic pieces that I can take off and on very quickly and move around with. They are so, they are agile and functional, if I can use that to describe it. Because sometimes, as you realize, we were working in the middle of a very active environment. People were coming and going. The weather was affecting things, and I had to be able to move and make quick decisions. I had to be able to add color gels very quickly. Those are gels from Expo Imaging and Rogue Flash Photography. I had to be able to match the colors when I wanted to, and sometimes even create sunlight when there was no sunlight, using the gel photography, the gels that come with with Expo Imaging's packages that they have. So those modifiers are so easy to carry and function with. But the inspiration, as much as equipment is great to have, the inspiration still comes from the combination of the energy that comes from my creative village.
Right.
So, like if there's a color that stands out from an outfit that a designer makes, I want to make sure that that outfit stands out with the right complementary color, by using the right color gel to complement it, or if I want to, to contrast it, use the right color gels to balance it out. In other words, shoot with a purpose and use the equipment intentionally, and not just throw things around just for the fun of it.
Right.
It's easy to just throw lights up and move around, but sometimes to set the right mood, you need to actually see it in your mind's eye first, and be fortunate to work with amazing creatives that can help you work in that direction, and then use the lighting to tell some story. you know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
with the right colors and the right combination, um, to bring the story out. And some people might have a style of photography. I seem to adjust my my images to the feeling that exists around the concept at that time.
Okay.
And then when I work with clients, they might have a concept to work with, but I still kind of bring out the feeling at a specific time,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what the outfit is, depending on how the attitude is, depending, you know, if we need, what color lights we might need by complementing not only the outfit, but complementing the feeling that connects with it. And the equipment, like I said, is important, but the people, when you were there, you assisted. Not only did you bring in beautiful, beautiful pieces that contributed to the color range and the color diaspora of the images that we end up with. You were actually there assisting. And it becomes contagious after a while when you see beautiful people working together. And I remember taking an image. I'll show it to you. That
Mm-hmm.
you and Taika and Nori and everybody was so busy collaborating and putting pieces on Lil Nori's neck and our model, making sure that everything was okay. And the outfit had a piece of everybody's creations on the model.
Mm-hmm.
So that alone, I was inspired to light it properly.
Right.
That's inspiration enough for me to say, you know what, I'm not going to let these people down. I want the lighting to be done properly. I want it to represent the work that they're working with. So the quality of the light and the quality of my photography, and then after I capture it, yes, I do take it in to finish it. It's definitely, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to publish it or I'm going to print it, there will be some definite finishing work that I need to do. And that's, we used to do that even before there was digital processing. It was
Mm-hmm.
done in the dark room. So the dark room was the same as a lot of people get kind of, doing digital work or photoshopping. It was done before there was Photoshop. We were still doing it in the dark room. But the
Wow.
most important thing is capturing the using the right lighting and the right feeling to complement and be intentional with the images that represent the images you want to capture. And like I said, it comes down to the people that I work with. It's inspiring to the people that I work with. And Expo Imaging really sees that, and they make the product so easy to carry and travel with that, like I said, I keep it in my pocket as I shoot, and I can replace and put up different color gels here and there at the snap of a button. I can do that
Mm-hmm.
very quickly, and I can move very fast. I can even try, or maybe I want to use yellow gels here. I'll try and see if it works, or use green here, or use blue here, and I can pull it around so quickly without wasting time and still experimenting. And still, like, as you know, I was showing you the back of the camera when we're shooting. I asking my co-creators, what do you think
Mm-hmm.
of this? Because with the equipment we had, I still depend on the human creative view. And you were a big contribution. You really contributed huge to that last project we did, and I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. That day was so fun for me. It was so fun to be able to work with everyone in that capacity, out in the open, fresh air, sun shining, wind blowing.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's gonna rain or not.
Well, we did get a thunderstorm that night, but it was nice
so
while
we
it
were
lasted.
done. Like God just said, hold on. Let them
Exactly. Yeah.
So
It's like it's done. Yep.
how long have you been doing photography?
I've been creative all my life. Photography has been back and forth for a long time. I've been doing photography for over 15 years.
Okay. I was
Okay.
asking that because of the quality, and then when you speak in such detail that I know that you've been doing it for a long time, trial and error.
Yeah, and I'm self-taught. I'm self-taught as a photographer, but uh, I I have done so many workshops with other people, and I'm constantly educating myself. I'm never satisfied with where I am when it comes down to the quality of the work that I'm doing.
Mhm.
Um, and and that's why I mean I'm constantly after 15 years I'm still striving and looking at different concepts and different techniques that I can use to help. It's not just enhancing my work, but it's making sure that the people and the muses that I work with uh, are well represented with the quality of work that I can bring. Also, I want to be able to create images, quality images on the go. I want to be able to move quickly. I want to be able
Mhm.
to move with intent and with not only with intent but with purpose and get quality from it. Sometimes moving fast doesn't give you quality, and I want to know when to slow down and when to speed up. And the best way to do that is to have the knowledge and apply that knowledge into experience and then practice that. And that's something that keeps me going, constantly.
Great. Let's dig into the publishing now.
Hmm.
You've been multi-published, right? Did you
Yeah.
stop counting?
Well,
Have you stopped counting? How many?
I stopped. I stopped counting. If you go on to, I think Caviar, there's a list that they have of all the magazines that I've been published in. But some of those multiple publications within, submissions and publications within those magazines. So
Yeah.
I haven't counted it. And even some of the hard copies I still need to order because I'm backlogged on some of them.
Mhm.
Um, it's and it's for my it's a lot of times 90% of the time I want to see it in print, but 90% of the time, at 100%, I want to be able to represent everyone that I work with,
Right. Okay.
and and,
Mhm.
and that's what the publishing is all about because it's for me the digital concept is great to like have it on digital, maybe you put it on Instagram, but back to what I said about having intent. If you create an image and it stays online, it's limited to just that, especially
Right.
with the dimensions. Yeah, with the dimensions of the kind of work that I like to put into my images and the
Mhm.
images that I create with people. I want it to be represented in many dimensions and not
Right.
just online because some images look very flat online, and when you look at it in print, you notice different things, and not only in print but in size.
Mhm.
You know, in large size prints rarely makes a big difference. Depending on the quality of paper you print it on and all of that. But just getting getting a magazine that you can open up and say, "Wow, I worked on these images with a group of amazing people." It's like
Mhm.
having your own scrapbook, but in multiple in multiple magazines. You
Right.
know,
Right. Mhm.
and that's why print is so important to me because I grew up in an era where digital wasn't really the forefront. You know, to be
Mhm.
able to have a good image, you had to make sure that it was printed properly,
Right.
and that's why seeing things on print is amazing. I mean, it's for me, it's an accomplishment to see things in print, but it also puts the pressure on me to make sure that the quality of work is of good quality enough to be printed because they just don't accept any image
Mhm.
to be
Yeah, you're right.
printed.
You're
They
right.
want to make sure that it's quality enough to print,
Mhm.
you know. And a lot of times they want a story that can be told with the images, like a proper editorial that has something to say.
It's true.
So, a lot of the work that goes into publishing starts before you pull the camera out.
Mhm.
So getting the story together, making sure that it makes sense, and then making sure that you get the right people that can connect with the story that you're trying to tell, and making sure that those people can work hand in hand with you to accomplish that story and help you create that story. Not only, like I said, not only the way you see it, but bringing their aesthetic to the table. And the aesthetic, and most of the time, I mean, referring to our last session, most of the time, the aesthetic that a lot of people bring elevates the concept that you have.
Right.
Like when you put your glasses on Nori's face and your necklace, and then Taika put that metal piece on her neck, and just enhance. It enhanced the situation. It really enhanced. And like I said, when I see those enhancements being done, I want to make sure that the quality is up to speed so that I can, when we get published, it looks great.
Right.
It represents us.
Right. Mhm.
It feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. And I'm looking forward. I did order a print, and I'm looking forward to it. You offer that service as well, right?
Definitely. Order large size prints. Not only large size prints of my, pictures of you, but large size prints of whatever prints that I might have. If you see something on Instagram that you like and you want a large size print of it, I offer that. I have some fine art and fantasy prints, images that I've shot, and that's available. I mean, it's I don't have it on my website, but it's available. It's available. If you see something on Instagram that connects, you can always order it. And the larger the print, believe it or not, the more, I think, the more interesting it is. Large prints rarely stands out. After looking at things on your phone for a while, when you see a large print, you really realize what we're missing.
Yeah, I can't
and we want to
make get mine. I have a space for it ready to hang.
I hope it represents it. I hope.
I'm sure it will. I don't doubt it. I'm sure it will.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's talk about challenges. Challenges in the industry. Having been in the industry for so long, what are some of the challenges that you face doing the work that you do?
One of the things that a lot of people don't talk about as a creative is our mental and emotional states.
Ooh. Oh,
as creatives, we kind of. I mean, I'm no professional doctor, but I can speak and say that as creatives, we have highs and lows, and our lows are very low sometimes. And it takes a lot to get us out of our lows to keep moving. For me, one of the big challenges is making sure that I can maintain a good level head to take me through my lows and to manage me through my highs. Because being, running your own business, things are bumpy. And sometimes, sometimes business is good, sometimes business is not so good, and it can directly affect your emotions. I have a family that I work with. I have a beautiful family. I have 3 kids, and making sure with my youngest child now still in the house with me and my wife, making sure that he is taken care of financially, my contributions to that, and being a self-employed creative is
Mhm.
also a real big challenge. So the challenges are multiple: running your business, uh, and being mentally stable to be able to continue being creative
Right.
and continue being aware of your environment, especially making sure that the ones that you love and you care about, that you are there for them, uh, even when the lows are low,
Mhm.
and having the right support in that system, uh, as I have, can help take you through those lows, uh, so that when the highs come, everybody can fly together. You know, as creatives, we don't really we tend not to face the lows. We tend not to pay attention to the creative lows because we
Mhm.
feel that it's a phase that we get through, but we don't take it into consideration that we will go through those lows, and we need help during those lows to make it through. And a lot of people don't understand uh, creatives when we go through that process, but sometimes we need to take a nap. You know,
Yeah.
we need
Yeah.
we need to just resign ourselves for a little bit to be able to come back better than we were before. But working with non-creatives, sometimes they don't see that,
Yeah.
you
They
know,
don't
and
respect it. Mhm.
yeah, and being a creative in a business environment is hard because people that just manage businesses see ones and zeros, and
Mhm.
as creatives, we have a gray period there. We have a gray space there that we live in a lot of the times. But in
Mhm.
order to survive in the business world, we need to make sure that we get our ones and zeros in place to be able to live in the gray world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Very
and
complex.
make yeah, and making sure that we keep our mental and emotional. Uh, we shouldn't turn our backs on that. We should be aware of it,
Mhm.
and surrounding ourselves with people that understand that helps.
Yeah.
It really helps
Yep.
for people to know that we creatives go through our emotional ups and downs, and it can directly connect to our business as we work. You know, uh,
That is the truest
and
thing I've heard all week.
yeah, our mental state is important. When we talk about mental problems, mental illness, and mental depression, and all those things, I think they affect creative people a lot more because when we create something, we put all that we are in it. After that session we did a few weeks back,
Mhm.
uh, I had to really take time to rest because
Mhm.
not only is it physically challenging, but emotionally, when you're running a session, you are emotionally connected with everyone on the session.
Mhm.
So that kind of drains you, and then by the end of the session, then you still have to produce the final product. And then after I did that submission um, for the last project we did, I needed
Mhm.
to sleep. I needed to rest,
Yeah.
and and
Yeah. I definitely
and
resonate with
that takes a
that.
lot. It takes a lot out of you, you know.
I
It
can
takes a lot out of
definitely resonate with that. And like you said,
you. Yep.
non-creatives don't understand it, and they take it personally, or they get offended, or they feel like you're acting away. But it's not that. It's we need to recharge.
Yeah. Recharge.
Because
That's
if
a
we
good way to
don't,
put it.
if we don't recharge, we can't produce our best work, and all we want to
Exactly.
do is put out our best work. So
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's definitely
That's a big challenge.
definitely yeah. That I kind of like that that answer because it went in depth, and it's something that, like you said, we don't really put to the forefront for
No.
creatives.
You know, our society doesn't take our mental state in general as a serious thing, and it's sad that we don't take it seriously. Uh,
Mhm.
it affects us, uh, our mental state affects us physically as much as our physical state affects our mental state, and that's something that we don't take seriously enough. And we need to take it seriously in our community and in our environment to keep moving forward.
Right. Right. Are there any upcoming projects, or is there a specific task that you have to handle right now that you are like excited or you enjoy working on? Like, is there anything right now that you're kind of looking forward to getting into?
There's a few things that I'm working on. I'm still working with Expo Imaging as a Rogue ambassador, and there's constant new products that they send me every time to try out, and that's exciting. It's great to get these little packages, and you have these cool concepts to play around with. That's always exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to the submission and the September release of a project that we worked on together.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking for that in September. I have some other things coming up connected with a gallery showing that I'm collaborating with someone that still I can't say too much about.
That's cool.
And
good to know that you have a list of things. This is like
and a couple of shoots that are coming up, and one is connected with someone that I'm doing a shoot with that I remember when she was born.
Wow.
So
okay. Full circle.
she recently hired me to work on her project, and that's something that I will be working on this September coming up. And she actually hired me to do her project, and I remember when she was a baby, when she was born.
Wow, exciting.
And and it's amazing that she's given me that respect, and I will give her the same respect for hiring me to do her project. She has some music coming out soon, and you'll hear from you. I can't give you all the details on her name and stuff, but you're gonna hear.
It'll come out. Don't worry.
Yep.
It'll be great.
You're gonna hear her music out there, and it's all part of the process.
Nice.
But most importantly, making sure that my youngest is making it through school, making sure that my wife and my family are staying tight.
Yes.
Making sure that I continue this creative journey, making sure that I don't get too down during the downtimes.
Yeah.
And making sure that I just keep a positive mind and connect with more creatives, because that's what fuels my fire. The more creatives I connect with, the more I learn, and I can share my creativity. So there's I'm open to a lot of possibilities now.
That's great. Yeah, collaborating is definitely a plus, and it does keep the creative juices flowing. It brings inspiration, and I always feel like that's one thing that you can do as a creative whenever you're feeling down or you're feeling like you got brain fog, and collaborate to some degree, because that'll definitely bring you back to point A. So now you could start branching out and decide what's next for me. So
collaborate with intention, and collaborate without. I use the word mediocrity. Collaborate without that, because a lot of times, back to the internet world, we limit ourselves to what is hot at that point in time. you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when you connect with creatives that are willing to go outside of color, like they say, color outside the lines,
Mm-hmm.
that's inspiring, and it's uplifting to have the opportunity to connect and collaborate with those creatives that are willing to color outside of the line, and it's inspiring. It is very inspiring to do that.
I agree. What skills or qualities do you think are important to succeed in your field, in the industry of photography? What skills?
You have to have an open mind, and like I always say, you have to work outside of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So having an open mind and working outside of a comfort zone is something that gives you a different vision, or you not a better vision, because there's no such thing as a better vision when it comes to art. There's nothing. There's not a good and bad thing when it comes to art.
Mm-hmm.
Art is not good or bad. It's it's different. Giving yourself the opportunity to have a different view outside of what is considered to be the normal view. That's a skill that a lot of people, a lot of creators, a lot of very good creators have, and a lot of people that are trying to figure it out don't have that opportunity to have. And
Mm-hmm.
and having to be able to think outside of the box, see things differently. And the only way you can get to that point is with experience.
Right, because that could happen at any given moment. You would have to change something on the spot,
Yeah.
and still
Yeah.
be able to achieve, creating at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, and having that kind of vision, just you can look at something and see it differently. I mean, with the way society works, people are so quick to shut down certain things, certain imagery, or
Mm-hmm.
certain concepts, and they limit it to what society accepts or their social environment accepts at that point in time. But they don't see, even with something that is extremely negative, you can look at it and understand why it's negative and use that to work in your favor.
Right.
And that's having that view, that different vision. And that's
Mm-hmm.
something that we don't give ourselves the opportunity to do. So just that ability to do that is something that is a necessary. Is the tools, the physical tools are necessary, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to look at an environment, not only because I'm a guitarist, also I'm a musician,
Okay.
and be able to listen to all the new things out here, but understanding the root of it all, and looking outside of the scope of what exists and looking at the whole picture is something that we as creators can use, instead of limiting ourselves to what already, what not only what already exists, but what is being overused.
Right.
We can give ourselves the opportunity to look at even what exists already, what is overused, and find our own place in there,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being copycats. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by other people's works, but
Mm-hmm.
if you can use that visual internal sense to look deeper, that's a skill that it takes a lot of practice to get to be able to see something and go, you know what, if you see something like a piece of sculpture or a piece of artwork or even a picture, an image online, and you say, you know what, I don't like that picture. Instead of saying, I just don't like it and keep scrolling, stop and look at it and say, why don't I like this picture?
Right.
Is it a personal reason that I don't like it? What's influencing the fact that I don't like it? I don't like it because I don't. It's personal. I don't like it because it's not technically properly, or is it a personal opinion or a professional opinion? you want to be able to understand why there's a dislike for something. And if you use that exercise within yourself as a creative, then you understand even more how you see things.
Right.
And having that sight, that available sight to be able to look at something that you might not like as a person, but if you look at it and as a professional, you could look at it, because as a creative, you have to be able to put like there's two hats. There's the professional hat that you have to wear, and there's that creative hat that you have to wear also. And we need, it's hard for us to do that, but we have to merge the two sometimes to make it work. And when you see a piece of art or something that you are uncomfortable with, you look at it and say, why is it uncomfortable?
Right.
You know, why don't I like it? Or if you see something you like, you say, you know, I like this. What makes this work? You know, and that's how that's how I approach when I scroll through Instagram or I go on Pinterest or where, even when I'm walking down the street and I see a piece of graffiti on the wall, I look at it and I say, why did I stop and look at this?
Right.
Is it because I like it, or is it because I don't like it, or something stopped me? What is it that's inspired me to look at this? And take that and try and connect with it and see how it becomes, you know, it how it connects to me and how I create. Because for me, I don't think back to finding a connection to what I'm a photographer, but I'm a creative. The visual aspects of it is general. The audio aspect. Sometimes I hear music when I'm shooting, music that's not being played, or when I'm creating a concept, I hear music that I built something from. I recently posted an image a portrait of someone that I did, and it was inspired by a song that I heard, a song that had the word, I'm not perfect, but I'm beautiful. You know, and I used that as the base to pull that image, and I posted it online on Instagram. So you put all of that together, you have being open-minded enough to reach out and say, oh, wow, you know, I like it or I don't like it, and ask yourself why.
Exactly. Very interesting, very thought-provoking, and it's not just a empty statement. It's definitely something that will make you think, and I appreciate that a lot, because the listeners will need that perspective, and to adopt that understanding not only with being a creative but with life. You know. Yeah. You know, as creatives, we see things differently anyway, and I think that's why they fear us, because we see things differently, and they want us to stay on the tracks that they built for us. Yeah.
But they see us as a threat. They're afraid of us because we color outside of the lines. You know, and they don't know what to do with us because we see things differently, and we scare them.
Children, huh? Bad little children.
Yeah, you know, they do that to us, but not realizing that the more they do that to us, the more we're gonna rise up strong. You know.
Exactly. That's what we do. We find a way from nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for this interview.
This is my pleasure.
Yes, I want you to tell the listeners exactly where can they find you, where can they view your work, and how can they book your services. Let's get that out there.
Yeah, you can contact me at Bymsha Browne Photography. The word is Bymsha Browne, Browne, photography.com. And you can catch me on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is 347-829-6742. I do have packages for sessions, but I like to do bespoke packages, if you know what I mean,
Mm.
because my bespoke packages are designed specifically for what the client's needs are. There's a lot of energy that comes to creating something that's out of the world, you know, fantasy or something that's fine art related or something that's just different. So I like to give my clients the opportunity to develop something with me. So there's a lot of opportunities for developing bespoke type sessions, which I really like to customize with clients. So, you know, I'm on Instagram with the theme, BYMSHA, BROWNE, photography.com. I'm on almost everything with that. My you know, my website is that, and then, you know, a WhatsApp call can work, a text can work. What else? You know, all of that.
Yes. And I want all the listeners to take heed to everything that AJ said today, because that was from a creative standpoint. For those creatives who can resonate, give him a round of applause, because I think he touched on things that we don't say. And for those who aren't creative, you could learn now how to look at a creative and try a little bit, try to understand what it is to be a creative and to be a bit more supportive to the creatives in your life.
Yeah, respect the creatives. Yes,
yeah.
I really appreciate this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to us working again very soon together. And this is in a lot of ways therapeutic for me, because these are things that I really, really always feel. And I appreciate that you giving me the opportunity to say these things, and you know, and this is like I said, very therapeutic, and I really appreciate this. Thank you very much.
No problem. You're welcome, and thank you. This has been another episode of Lensless with Candy Wu, and I will see you next time. Tune in, give us a like, share, and a follow on our platforms, because these are positive things that we are bringing to the community. Have a good day. Bye-bye.